Hello and welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, and welcome here to the review of Barcelona against Leganes. Another 3 points are in the bag, combined with 3 goals in our favour. It's Barça 3, Leganes 1, courtesy of Ousmane Dembélé, Suarez, and a late but brilliant strike from Lionel Messi. We are going to be reviewing what was a very, very entertaining game for a number of reasons, with ups and downs. It's all going on here. Let's do this! But if we first and foremost start here with what was a very surprising lineup from Ernesto Valverde, and he did rotate pretty heavily, resting Lionel Messi going into this one. He started on the bench. It was Ter Stegen, Jordi Alba, Thomas Vermaelen, Gerard Piqué, Roberto, and then Busquets, Arthur, and Carlos Aleñá in midfield. And I have to say, when I originally saw that midfield, I was thinking, wow, that is going to be really, really special. And I have to say, in the game, it didn't disappoint. It was so balanced in this midfield, so brilliant. A lot of different dynamics here. You had Arthur who'd have a bit of control. You've had Aleñá here who'd push on a little bit and get involved in the attacks, and Busquets who just drop in between the 2 centre-backs. Then Coutinho from the left, Dembélé who was unbelievably good from the right-hand side, and Suarez who was heavily involved right throughout the game, leading our attack. But we have to start. We absolutely have to start with the performance and the quality of this man here, who was everywhere, not just on the right, he came central, and in that first half, it was almost like he had a free roll, and boy did he take advantage. Because in that first half for me there, I want to address something here which is really, really important, I think, for the Barcelona fan, because it's not just about goals. It's not just about goals. We don't expect perfection, because a lot of people looking in sometimes, you know, they see us 2 or 3-0 up, and they see some people who are complaining, and they think the Barcelona fans want everything to be perfect all of the time. But we accept that cannot happen. You know, these guys are not robots. But at the end of the day, we don't expect that. We don't expect a bundle of goals. We don't expect perfection. What we do want is what we saw in that first half. A bit of expression, a bit of confidence, players going out there to entertain. And that's what we got. We got a young player in Aleñá who was starting in a La Liga game, given the opportunity by his coach, and you could see him growing in confidence. You had something like Arthur Melo next to him, a player again growing and growing in stature, and you had Ousmane Dembélé playing from the right-hand side, dancing around Leganes defenders, making it look as though it was nothing. He was gliding around the pitch, doing things that were absolutely extraordinary, and you were just sitting there thinking, this is football. That's what it's all about. Sitting down, enjoying your team play, watching the flow, looking at that midfield, all of those different characteristics in there, a very flexible front three. You had Suarez giving everything. You had our backline there, focused, concentrated, and I was really, really impressed. Even though we were only 1-0 up at half-time, it was an enjoyable first half, it was good to watch, and we played good football. That is what we want as Barcelona fans. It doesn't have to be 4, it doesn't have to be 5 goals. We don't expect perfection, but what we do want is that enjoyment. Players going out there and expressing themselves and being allowed to express themselves in the only way they know how. And players like Dembélé, they are going to entertain. And like I said, he came out firing, he came out confident. Every game that I watched Dembélé, there's progression there now. There's a player in there that's massively confident now. He's believing in himself. He believes that he belongs here at Barcelona, and he was dancing around the pitch. He was doing dribbles. He was trying to set up attacks. He was trying to shoot on goal, and it was only really, of course, him who was going to get that first goal, simply because he was everywhere. And I want to talk about this first goal because there's lots of different ways that you can look at this. First of all, Gerard Piqué starts the move brilliantly. He's out on the right back side, almost in a right wing back position. Piqué is surrounded by 3 Leganes players. He uses his body, uses his mind, he dribbles his way out, he starts the move, he starts the attack, he plays it into Carlos Aleñá, who advances in the field. He's growing in confidence, he takes on the ball, and he's very, very positive. That's what I like about Aleñá. The first thought in his mind is, let's get this ball forward, let's carry it. He does that, he lays it off to Dembélé in the final third, and Dembélé here almost mirrored Messi. And I'm not comparing the two in any way. What I'm saying is Dembélé here is learning from Messi, because he actually takes the ball into the centre of the field, he comes inside, and then he looks for Jordi Alba, who I'm going to come on to in a minute, all on his own. But he plays it out to Alba, and then he does what Messi does. He doesn't just admire that pass, he moves into the box. He's desperate then to get on the end of it. He runs into space. Alba, you know that he's going to find you. He pulls it back. Dembélé scores. Great goal. Very, very important goal goal as well in that first half, and Dembélé fully deserving of that for what was a wonderful performance. Sadly, of course, for Dembélé, his game was cut short just before the 70th minute mark. The reasoning for that is it wasn't a big collision, it wasn't a big tackle, anything like that. It was simply self-inflicted, and it was so unlucky. It was just a fall that he landed awkwardly on his left leg. It was sort of bent and tucked underneath him. His boot actually got a bit caught in the turf. And when you see a player go down like that, there's no challenge on him, there's no contact, you think, oh no. And he stayed down as well, and for a good amount of time as well. The ball was going around, he was down for a few minutes, but he didn't look in agony. He wasn't rolling around in pain, he wasn't banging on the floor, and that's all good signs. And the best sign of all is, even though Dembélé went off, he walked off the field. He walked around the side of the pitch, then to the bench, and it doesn't look like it's going to be a serious injury. And thankfully that is the case, because Dembélé today was so good, and we don't need him having any more misfortune. And of course, the home fans were treated 25 minutes from time with a man they all came to see. It was Lionel Messi. There was 50,000 spectators inside the Camp Nou tonight. I believe that's because it's our third home game in 7 days. A lot of money, of course, being spent on these tickets, and 50,000 fans today looking and waiting to see Lionel Messi. He did come on, and of course, he brought an immediate impact. There was urgency in his play. He was picking the ball up deep. What I would say, though, is I wasn't really sure about the decision to take off Carlos Aleñá and Arthur Melo to bring Rakitic on as well. I think Coutinho today didn't have his best game. He didn't really bring the kind of intensity we saw when he was picking the ball up and driving at defences just a few games ago. He did seem again today very short on confidence. He was a bit hesitant in his play. Jordi Alba was overlapping, and at times he really struggled to find him, and it wasn't really a great day for Felipe Coutinho overall. And I think Arthur and Aleñá going off was really harsh, because both of them were really good in that midfield, such a good balance between them, and I actually think that when they went off, we did lose a significant amount of control. But of course, in these kind of games, despite all those chances we created in the first half, all that domination on the ball, we didn't quite put the game to bed. We didn't quite finish off all the chances we should have in front of goal, and because of that, Leganes, in the start of the second half, they got themselves back in. At 57 minutes time, it's Braithwaite who's really quick counter-attack from Leganes, but at the same time, we shouldn't really get beat here. It's a 4 against 2 situation. We should defend it better. We sort of fall asleep for about 2 minutes, and sometimes that can hurt you. What I would say, though, even though Leganes scored, I was still pretty happy with our defence today, and in particular, Thomas Vermaelen, who's come back in, of course, very injury prone. He's been very unlucky over his Barcelona career, but when he's in the team, when he plays, he is often very good, very capable, and coming back into the team again today after a long absence, credit where it's due. He did well alongside Gerard Piqué, and overall today, we are pretty strong defensively and hardly allowed Leganes anything at all, apart from that moment, which led to the goal. But it was Messi, of course, who was involved in that big moment 20 minutes from time that gave us the lead, and at that point you were looking for that goal. Where is it going to come from? Who's going to provide it? And it was a bit of brilliance from Messi. He takes it on the edge of the box, gets it out of his feet, he works space. You know how he gets into that little pocket of space, and that's all he needs. He unleashes a sensational strike towards the top left-hand corner, and I have to say, I thought it was going in on its own. It was a wonderful strike, it really was, but Cuellar gets out full stretch, tips it, gets his hand to it, stops the shot, but it wasn't enough. Suarez is on hand, he's alive to the danger, he's following in as a centre forward. That's what you do. If you're in and around the box, you've got to be alive to that danger. You've got to be looking to always get those little fumbles from the goalkeeper. He does that, he attacks it with everything he's got. Suarez is never pulling out of that kind of situation, and he taps the ball home, gets there first, and gets a really important goal for us. And at that point then, you were thinking we were going to be comfortable, but we didn't really kick on from there. We didn't really have that control in the sort of end of the second half. It was a bit of a stop-start game, and that was really shown in the fact there were 7 whole minutes added to the end of the second half, and it was getting a bit nervy inside the Camp Nou. There were a few fans there, you know, a bit disgruntled, a bit worried that we were going to concede an equalising goal very late on. But of course, Messi in that kind of situation, you can always depend on him not to take the ball into the corner, not to go to ground. He wants to get another one. That's the attitude for Messi, and he brings that to all the other players. Let's go and get another goal. Let's kill off the game. And of course, his very willing partner Jordi Alba is only so happy to accept that challenge. Down the left-hand side again, Lionel Messi's got the ball in his feet. He's looking for that 1-2. They're always looking to combine those two. The movement is so good. The understanding is almost telepathic. It's Messi into Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba's inside the area. He's looking for Messi. It's an easy transition. They do it so many times a game. Back into Messi, and he rifles the ball home. It's a wonderful finish. He absolutely smashes it into the back of the net with his right foot. Yes, Pele, with his right foot. He can use both feet very capably indeed. And tonight, Messi coming off the bench, having a massive hand in that second goal, scoring the third goal, killing off this game, and giving us here a vital 3 points on the night. And those 3 points, of course, mean that we are now still 5 points clear at the top of the La Liga table. No movement this week. Atletico Madrid winning, Real Madrid there up to 3rd place, but we have maintained our lead, 5 points clear at the top, and that right now is exactly where we want to be. And of course, coming up in just a few days, the first leg of our Copa del Rey quarter-final, which will be away at Sevilla. A tough game, one that I'm looking forward to, and of course, guys, there'll be a lot more videos coming up on the channel very soon indeed. Please leave your thoughts in the comments down below. What did you make of our performance? What did you make of the players who came in, the likes of Aleñá in midfield? What did you think of that kind of rotation and the way we played, especially in that first half? Let me know down below. I will see you soon, but until then, as always, Visca El Barça!